Hello guys, and how are you doing? Can you see me and hear me?
Why can't you stay organized? I've experienced.
It seems that for myself the stream is starting. Okay, nice. Nice, how was today's contest, guys? Did you like the contest today? I'm good. Not bad. Nice lights. Okay, so you like this color. We have different colors as well. I can change the color as well, but I think this one is good for this contest. Bad, normal, bad, bad. Liked this contest. Bad. It's been a long time from your streams. Yes, I had a stream last week though, and I have topic streams as well. Let me send a link to the topic streams again in here. Guys, I strongly recommend to you to watch these topic streams. In each Friday we have these topic streams. Recently it didn't have good structure, but again we'll start to have this discipline to have on Friday always. For example, last week it was on Wednesday, but we try to be more disciplined and have it on Fridays again. Okay, so are you ready to talk about the problems? Shall we start, or do you want to discuss the contest more? Please tell the solutions in Python too. Okay, I'll show you solutions in Python as well, but I usually just tell you the algorithm, so the code is how you can choose how you want to code it, but I'll show you Python codes as well. Okay, when you will cover the remaining of algorithms, whenever you vote for that, you can join the Telegram channel and vote for that. Let me send you the link to the Telegram channel as well. All of you are very welcome to join the Telegram channel as well. In there I put a vote, and whatever you decide I start talking about it. Okay, let's go. So let's start talking about the first problems. I solved first 4. Yes, Python is very slow, and that's why it usually is not used in competitive programming, but it works in the first problems anyway. Okay, so let's start talking about the problems. The first problem. Problem A, Milya and 2 arrays. An array is called good if for any element that appears in this array, it holds that x appears at least twice in this array. So for example, these arrays are good and these arrays are bad. For example, because this one has only 1, this one has only 1, 2, this one has only 1, 2, and only 1, 3. So an array is good if it has 2 of each element. So you're given 2 good arrays, A and B of length n, and you can rearrange them as you want. You have to, and then after that, C of I will be equal to A sub I plus B sub I. And you can only rearrange A, but I tell you that it's not very different if you could rearrange both. At the end, C of I will be equal to A sub I plus B sub I. You have to determine whether Milya can rearrange the elements in A such that there are at least 3 distinct elements in array C. So let's talk about this. Well, we know that we have this array A1, A2 to AN. Also, we feel free to discuss the solution in the chat as well. I know that most of you guys have solved this problem. Frozen webcam. It's not good. Let me change. Here is not frozen definitely, but here is still frozen. Let me connect it again. Am I still frozen? Yeah, I'm still frozen. Okay, let me discuss the solution. Or maybe you discuss the solution and I can see that what's wrong with this camera and then tell you the rest of it. Whatever you prefer. Let me see that what's happening. Okay guys, for any reason it's not working, that one. But let me probably continue talking about it and then I check it back again. So you can see my frozen picture for now. But I go back to the webcam as well. Okay, sure. I don't want to keep you waited that much, so I leave the camera for now. I have this array A1, A2 to AN. Invest a new camera. I'll show you something after solving this problem. A1, A2 to AN, and we have B1, B2 to BN, right? I want to rearrange A1 to AN in a way that if I sum up the values on the same positions, these values of CIs will be all, will have at least 3 distinct values. Well, the point is that if you start from the beginning, I mean, you can rearrange AIs as you want. So you can pair each AI with each BI that you have. Well, first of all, I tell you that if one of the arrays has only one number, if in one of the arrays all of the numbers are same, for example, in array A, all of the values are same. And in B, we have at most 2 different numbers, then it's not possible to create 3 numbers. Do you agree? So the point is that if we have only the same A's and in B we have at most 2 different numbers, it's not possible to make 3 distinct numbers. Also, at the same time, if everything is same in B, but in A we have at most 2 different numbers, also in that case it's not possible to make 3 distinct numbers as well. But I'll show you that otherwise it's always possible to make at least 3 distinct numbers. What do I mean? I mean that if both A and B, both of them have at least 2 distinct numbers, and we know that from each number we have 2 of them too. Okay, so to not be very frozen, I'll switch to here a little bit. I'm saying that if both A and B, both of them have at least 2 distinct numbers, and we know that from each number we have 2 of them too. So I show you that in this case it's possible to have at least 3 distinct numbers in C. How do I say that? I say that, for example, assume that in A you have 2 values x1 and x2. And you know that you have 2 of them, 2 of each one of them. And in B we have y1 and y2. We know that from each one of these numbers, both of these arrays are good arrays. So we have 2 of each of these. So I can match one of these x1s with this y1, with one of these y1s, one of these x's with one of these y2s, one of these x2s with one of these y2s, and one of these x2s with one of these y1s. And I show you that it creates at least 3 distinct numbers. So what do I mean? I mean that we have at least 2 x1s in A and at least 2 x2s in A. Also, we have at least 2 y1 in B and at least 2 y2 with B. I arrange them like this and I show you that only in these elements I'm gonna have at least 3 distinct numbers. Why? Without loss of generality, assume that x1 is less than x2 and y1 is less than y2. So I'll show you that x1 plus y1 is different to x1 plus y2. x1 plus y2 is definitely greater than x1 plus y1 because y2 is greater than y1. And it's less than x2 plus y2. Therefore, we have these 3 distinct numbers. Therefore, we create three distinct numbers like this. So the point is that if both of the arrays have at least two numbers, it's okay. We always can create three numbers. Also, if in one of them, all of them are the same, and the other one, we have three distinct numbers. For example, in one of them, all the numbers are 1, and in the other one, we have at least three distinct numbers. That's also okay too. So the only way that is not good is that in at least one of them, all the numbers are the same, and in the other one, we have at most two different numbers. Okay, so the only case that does not work is that one of them, all the numbers are the same, and in the other one, we have at most two numbers. This way, we cannot create more than two distinct numbers in C. Is it clear? If it is clear for you, put a plus or use this 100 emoji. And at the same time that you're doing this, maybe it's good if I try again to fix the issue. My webcam. Not my webcam, my camera. Let me try again. Okay, so can you hear me? Because it said there's no voice. Okay, you should hear me again. Okay, so since this is not working, let me add my webcam here so that you can at least see me somehow. Okay, I think that's the best choice we have for now. Just be a bit creative and solve the problem in another way. Is it good? Let me add myself here too. Okay. Okay, you can see me at least somehow. Okay. So now that you understood it well, shall we move on to problem B? Echo? For real? Is it, guys, just to confirm, is everything okay right now or not? Does everything work? I liked your video. Thank you a lot, guys. Guys, if you want to support me, you can support me by any way you want. You can share the video, you can like the video, you can subscribe to the channel. Also, as I said, I told you in the last topic stream as well, you don't have to do this, but in order to make the course that I'm trying to make, and I have to pay the video editors, etc., and also other people to have teach in this course, you can support me in here as well, but you don't have to do that, only if you want. Even if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, that's enough, and that's a lot for me for supporting. That's more than enough. But if just you want, you can do that. Yes, I go to Maryland. I go to University of Maryland. Yes, at least 2 elements in each array, or 1 in one and at least 3 in the other. Do you want me to move on to B, or do you want me to show code on A as well? Just write in the chat that which one do you prefer. show code, move on, move to B, move B, 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 B. Okay, the number of people who say B are infinite. So for now, I just move on to B. I'll just send the link to the submissions to A to you. You can read them here. You can read codes here for everyone, anyone who wants to do that. So let's move on to problem B now. Problem B. You are given an array A of length n and an even integer k. K is from 2 to n. You need to split the array A into k non-empty subarrays such that each element of the array A belongs to exactly one subarray. Next, all subarrays with even indices are concatenated into a single array B, and 0 will be added to the end of the array. So we have this array and we split it into k. K is an even number and we split it into k non-empty subarrays, and some subarrays are continuous in this problem. And a 0 will be added to the end of all of these even indices of these subarrays. And we say that the cost of B is defined as minimum index I such that B sub I is not equal to I. For example, the cost of array B, this array is equal to 3 because the first element that is not equal to itself is B of 3, which is not 3. Determine the minimum cost of the array B that can be obtained with an optimal partitioning of the array A into subarrays. So we want to minimize the cost. We want to split it in a way that at the end, when we concatenate all the ones in even indices, the first element that is not equal to itself will have the minimum possible index. So let's talk about this. Well, if you take a look at our array, and guys, we are 196 people. Let's see if we can achieve 200. We're very close to 200. Okay, anyway. So we have this array and we want to split it into k subarrays, right? And we want to see if we can concatenate all the ones at even indices, these ones, and when we add a 0 at the end, we add this 0 to the end because we want to make sure that there will be some index that is not equal to itself. The only reason that it says it makes it, well, look at there, the camera is here. The only reason that it says that we add a 0 at the end, it makes it more complex by doing this, is that to make sure that there's some bi such that bi is not equal to I. And how do I solve it? I say that there are, again, two cases. First, let's consider the first case. 201 for me is 193 right now. Anyway, but it's fun. So I consider two cases. The first case is that if n is equal to k. If n is equal to k, the point is that we have only one way to do this, right? If n is equal to k, we have only one way to do this. And that is just have each element as its own subarray. So it will be like this. Okay. And we have to just see that, okay, when it happens, we have the array, we just have the array in this case when n is equal to k. We have to see that what is the first index, I, that is b sub I is not equal to I. Right? So this case will be solved easily. In this case, we just have a 4 on the even indices. We just find the first index that is not, the first index, if we concatenate these, if this one was not equal to 1, the answer is 1. If this one was not equal to 2, the answer is 2. If this one was not equal to 3, the answer is 3. I'll show you the code on this problem as well, to see that if, what do you mean by rate? Are you attacking this stream? Anyway, so we just see that by doing this what is gonna be the answer. So this is the case where n is equal to k. Is it clear? I wasn't sure if it was spammers, but if it is a spammers and it's making issues, I can hide the users. I was not sure. Sorry guys that I'm hiding you. I hope that you were not trying to ask question. Okay. So the case where n is equal to k is clear. Now assume that n is greater than k. Well, the point is that when n was equal to k, we had only one way, so everything was determined. But when n is greater than k, we have some flexibility, we can choose something. Okay, that's why I separate these two cases, where n is greater than k or when n is equal to k. Okay, I'm solving b. Now I'm saying that if n is greater than k, at least one of my subarrays can have size greater than 1. So I'm free to have one subarray with size greater than 1, at least. So I just take a look at the second and the third elements. I take a look at the second and the third elements. And I say that if one of them was not equal to 1, if one of these two was not equal to 1, I say that the answer will be 1. Why? Because I say that, for example, assume that the third one is not equal to 1. It's equal to some x not equal to 1. I choose this subarray as the first subarray and this array as the second subarray and the rest however I want. And because I can have at least one subarray with size greater than 1, I can do this. So the answer will be 1 in this case, if at least one of these two was not equal to 1. Otherwise, if both of them were equal to 1, both the second one and the third one were equal to 1, in this case I choose, in this case it will be a bit more complicated. First of all, I show you that the answer cannot be more than 2. The answer will be at most 2. Why the answer will be at most 2? Because in the worst case scenario, I can choose this one as the first array and these two as the second array and the rest however I want. So the answer will be at most 2 in this case. Maybe still it can be 1, but it would be at most 2. So the answer will be either 1 or 2 in this case. And I should just see that if still I can make it 1 or not. How do I say that? I say that I try to see that what is n minus k. Okay, we know that the size of this second subarray can be at most n minus k plus 1. For example, if n is equal to k, we know that the size of each array is at most 1. When n is 1 more than k, one subarray can be of size 2. When n is 2 more than k, the size of one array can be 3. So I see that what is the maximum size a subarray can have. So that I want to see that what is the maximum size that my first subarray can have, such that there will be at least k minus 1 elements left. And I know that if I remove that element, the next one is the first element in the next array. So I should just check that I know that the first subarray at least ends here and at most ends here. So my next array starts at least from here and at most from here. So I should just check this range and see that if there is one element not equal to 1 in here. If there was one element not equal to 1 in here, the answer will be 1. Otherwise, the answer will be 2. So basically, I'm saying that when n is greater than k, the answer is 1 or 2. And I can just see that in this range, that the first array can be such that there will be at least k minus 1 elements left. I know that the first one is at least only this element, or is at most up to some point, such that there will be at least k minus 1 elements left. Its size is at most n minus k plus 1. So I should just take a look at the next elements of these and see that if one of them is not equal to 1. If one of them was not equal to 1, the answer is 1. Otherwise, the answer is simply 2. Because I can look at the second and the third number, both of them are 1. So I can just pick the first one as one of the arrays and the second and third one as the second subarray, and my answer will be 2. Is it clear? Isn't k equal to n, then you have the array like full of even indices? If k is equal to n, it's clear, yes. It's determined and it's clear to what we have. Sure, I will repeat it. Just to have some insight about how you understood it. If it was clear for you, put a plus or use this emoji. I want to see, and if it was not clear, also let me know in the comments. For example, put a minus in the comment or just tell me that it's not clear. I want to see that. I want to have some statistics on how much you understood. I couldn't solve such an easy question. No, it's okay. I mean, it looks easy when you explain it, but maybe achieving it is not very easy. Okay, I will explain it again. Is the problem statement clear, or do you want me to tell you the problem statement again as well? Because I think I saw one comment that was asking, was saying that I didn't get the question. Expected CF rating of problem B, probably 1200 or so. Okay, so let me tell you the solution again then, if the statement is clear. So I'm saying that if n is equal to k, as I said previously, everything is determined. So the solution is just fixed if n is equal to k. If n is equal to k, everything is clear, and we can say that everything is determined, and we can just check this array that we're gonna have and find the first index that is not equal to itself. If n is equal to k, all of them will have size 1. All of them will have size 1, and we can just see that what will be the size of array at the end this way. What is going to be the first index that is not equal to itself. So this case is clear if n is equal to k. But the point is that when n is greater than k, we can choose several things. I mean, we can just have some control over how our array is going to be. So what do we say in that case? We say that what is the size of the first subarray? The size of the first subarray. Why is it clear for, why is it important for me that what is the size of the first subarray? Because I want to see that what is the first element that the second subarray starts with? The first element that the second subarray starts with is important for me. Okay. So I just say that assume the size of the first subarray, consider the size of the first subarray. It's at least 1, and it is at most n minus k plus 1. Why is it n minus k plus 1 at most? Because there must be at least k minus 1 elements left after you choose the first subarray. So its size is at most n minus k plus 1. If it is more than that, there wouldn't be k minus 1 elements left. So we cannot have k minus 1 non-empty subarrays after that. And now I say that so the index that the second subarray starts with, the index that the second subarray starts with is at least 2 and is at most n minus k plus 2. Right? If it is zero-based indexing is the same as this, but I'm in this explanation I'm using one-based indexing. The index that the second subarray starts with is at least 2 and is at most n minus k plus 2. I'm saying that if in these indices there is one number not equal to 1, I set it in a way that the second subarray starts from that index. I do it in a way that the second subarray starts from that index. And therefore, the answer in this case, I can say that the answer is going to be 1 in this case. Otherwise, if all of them were equal to 1. All of these were equal to 1. So I showed that if one of them is not 1, it's clear, the answer is 1. Because I can do that in a way that the second subarray starts with that one. If it was not this, I just pick the first. I know that these ones, the size of this is more than 1. Because we have more than one choice. We know that in this case, n is greater than k. So n minus k plus 2 is at least 3. So we at least have the chance that start from the third one. I mean, one subarray can have the size of at least 2 in this case. So in this case, I set the first subarray to have only this element. And for the second subarray, I choose these two. At least these two. I will make sure to include at least these two. And the rest is not important as well. I just need to make sure that these two will be in the second subarray. In this case, I say that the answer is going to be 2. Because I know that in my second subarray, the second element is not equal to 2. It's equal to 1. So the answer will be 2. So in this way, I can show that the answer will be at most 2. If all of these elements were 1, my answer is 2. Otherwise, my answer is 1. So that's going to be all. For example, you just said that why the answer is at most 2, for instance, if I'm just talking about this comment. For instance, if this was the example. So it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Well, in this case, we have 9 elements and 8 subarrays. I say that choose this one as your first subarray, this one as your second subarray, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, eighth one. So you can see that if you consider the even indices, subarrays with even indices, your subarray is going to be 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, right? So the second element is not equal to 2. So the answer will be 2. Well, the point is that in this example, the second subarray can start somewhere from here because all of them are equal to 1. The answer is 2. If at least one of them were not equal to 1, the answer was 1. Okay, is it clear now? If it is clear, put a plus, otherwise put a minus. Also, you can use this emoji to show that it's clear for you. Your explanation is great. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're learning something. Just couldn't general that how you say that will result to 1. I didn't completely understand what you said. Can you show code please in CPP? Yes. Don't get it, to be honest. Minus, minus, minus. Great explanation. Thank you a lot, guys. Thank you a lot. And again, guys, if you like the video, you can support me by liking the video or subscribing to the channel, and also sharing the topic streams to others. For me, topic streams are more than contest solution discussions. So let me send you the link of the topic streams again. First of all, I definitely recommend to you to watch this because it's basically something that I believe that you can use it to get to at least experts if you learn the things that they say there. But you can also join the others. I would be happier if more people join each one of them. So, okay, let me just repeat it very fast. I'm just saying that in case n equal to k is clear, in case n is greater than k, the answer is at most 2 because there are at least 2 choices for where the second array starts with. If both of them were 1, then if all of them were 1, then the answer is going to be 2 because we can choose them as the second array. Otherwise, the answer is 1 because I have at least one choice that the second array starts with something other than 1. Okay. I'll show you code as well. I'll show you the code as well. So let me bring the code. You can bring the codes from here. Let me first see if, for example, you can take a look at this code. You can see that he has also considered different cases where n is equal to k and where n is not equal to k. If n is equal to k, he just has a 4 from 2 to n, and he just says that if ai was equal to I sub I divided by 2, flag is gonna be I half. I mean, the answer is gonna be, a flag is gonna be I half, otherwise break. He just considered the first element that is not equal to that. So he will consider that what was the last element that was equal to what it was supposed to be equal to. A sub I should be all equal to I half. And then at the end, he just prints flag plus 1. Otherwise, if n was greater than k, what he does is this. He has a 4 from 2 to n minus k plus 2. Exactly what I explained to you here. In here, I just told you that this index that the second array starts with is from 2 to n minus k plus 2. He just says that if all of them were equal to 1, the answer is going to be 2. Otherwise, the answer is going to be 1. In here, he could also write flag plus 1. That would also work. But anyway, so this way, he can print all the answer. If flag was true, he will see out 2, otherwise he will see out 1. Is it clear? What? Thank you very much, guys. What are you telling me? Harsh. I really love your solutions, but you are not regular. What do you mean by regular? Is it clear, guys? If it's clear, by mistake I typed. Okay. If it's clear, we can move on to C. Also, if you want me to show you a Python code, I can show you a Python code as well. Could you code it in Python? I can show the code in Python as well. Probably coding it would be a bit too much and take some, but I think showing it is okay. For example, let's take a look at this solution. He just gets n and k, and he gets the array, and he just considers n minus k. That's the same thing. If the difference between n and k was 0, it means that if n and k were equal, he would just consider the first element as he just has a 4 and see that what is the first index that is not equal to what it should be. Otherwise, the output is at most 2. Only in case that he will go to from I, he has a 4 from I to diff plus 1. If a of I plus 1 was not equal to 1, output will be equal to 1 and prints out. But basically that's the exact same thing, only the way he wrote it is different. The syntax is different. He's just writing in Python, but he's doing the exact same thing. Is that the exact same thing? He's doing it in a different way, a bit, but it's almost the same thing. Is it clear? Let's move on to problem 3. Sorry. Make a tutorial for all the contests. I know you have your college work, startup, GF, everything also, but also make contest solution for every contest. And how do you know this much about me? Let's see if anyone else had any question. Yes, I got ad on my own stream. Yes. Bro, do you really have GF? Why is that important? Do you want me to talk about it at the end of this stream? I can talk about the other topics at the end of the stream. Can your GF fight? She cute. Congrats to you if you have a GF generating function. Yeah. she can fight. Right now we're in a fight. I mean, exactly right now we're in a fight. We almost fight every day, to be honest with you guys. Okay, yeah, long time. Happy to see you again. Okay, are you from Dagestan? No, I'm from somewhere else. And I think most of you know that where am I originally from. I'm from Iran. Right now I'm in the US to study. Yes, I'm from Iran. Okay, let's go to C. Clearly China, I'm sorry, I wanted to move on to C. But they really look to be from China. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's move on to problem C. I know that a lot of you guys are waiting for me to move on to problem C. Let me send these links again in case you just want to support my work. You can use this link. You don't have to, again, even liking the video, even talking to you guys is a support by itself, but only if you want. And if in case, I got these emails, to be honest, a lot recently. In case I made a website for that, in case you really want to be tutored by me, you can visit this website. I just used Google Sites to create a website very quickly. If you want, I can sometimes teach you how to do that very quickly as well. But you can just fill out the form there if you want. Okay. So, how attractive is Codeforces GM? Okay. Can I impress a crush with Codeforces Jiangli? We can talk about that. We can talk about how to impress a crush at the end of the stream. If you want, we can have separate streams on that topic. Okay. Okay, before some of you beating me up, I will move on to problem C. Okay, customer service. It says that Nicker has started working as a queue manager at the company Black Contour. He needs to choose the order of servicing customers. There are a total of n queues, each initially containing 0 people. In each of the next n moments of time, there are 2 sequential events. New customers arrive in all queues. More formally, at the jth moment of time, the number of people in the ith queue increases by positive integer a sub I and j. So at each moment of time, the number of customers in a queue will be increased by some number. At time j, the number of people in queue number I will be increased by a sub I and j. Or Nicker chooses exactly one of the n queues to be served at that moment in time. The number of customers in this queue becomes 0. Let the number of people in the ith queue after all events be xi. Nicker wants mix of this collection. So at the end, each time we can choose one of them and make them 0 at each of the times, each of the seconds. At the end, we want to do it in a way that at the end, when we do all of this, after this n days, we want it to be in a way that the mix of the number of people in the queues will be maximum, and the max is the minimum excluded value. And if you have some numbers, it's the first number that is not in that. For example, max of 2, 2 and 1 is 0. The minimum non-negative integer, so it starts from 0. Max of 2, 2 and 1 is 0. Max of 3 and 1 and 0 and 1 is 2 because it doesn't have 2. Max of 0, 3, 1, 2 is 4. So we want to maximize this max, basically. You have to say that, how can we do this? Well, we know that we have n days, right? Or n moments. And in each day or moments, we know that the number of people added to queues will be different. For each queue, in each line, we have the information about one of the queues. This is queue number 1. This is queue number 2. This is queue number 3, 4, 5, 2, n. So we have these queues. This is queue number n. And we say that in each moment of time, some numbers of people will be added to the queue. First of all, I tell you that we can always choose a permutation of serving the queues. Why? There are n moments of time, there are n days and n queues, n days and n queues. I tell you that all of them can be different. I mean, in different days, we can choose different queues. Why? Because as soon that you choose two queues, I mean, for a queue, you choose it on 2 days, 2 different days. On 2 different days, you serve this queue. Well, the point is that in this case, if you serve it in the 2 days, the first time that you did it is not helpful. So you could just serve another queue instead on that day. So first of all, I tell you that, I say that you can choose a different queue each day. So you can choose a permutation. Do you guys agree with this? If you agree, please use this 100 emoji or put a plus in the chat. This emoji or put a plus in the chat. So first of all, I say that we can choose a permutation basically. And that's okay. We don't need to choose one twice. Why? Because I'm saying that in a queue, you don't need to, I'm talking about problem C. We don't need to say that on each queue, we don't need to choose it twice. We don't need to service it twice. We can just service it once, because the first time that you serviced it, when you do it the second time, the first time is not helpful anymore. I mean, it doesn't have any effect. So you could do it on another one instead. Okay. Why? Is it a permutation? Because as I said, each day we can choose a different one. If we choose if we choose a queue twice, it's not helpful anymore. The first one is not helpful because in the second time it will be reset. So it can be, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why not choose a queue more than once? Because I'm saying that if you choose it more than once, the second time that you choose it makes the first one useless. Because why did you do this? It has no effect anymore. When you do it the second time, doing it or not doing it the first time is not important. So you could reset something else instead. Okay, so you don't need to do it twice on some, or you could even skip this part and do not service anyone. Great. Why you could use another one for the first time? That's a very good question. That's also a very good question. I haven't talked about that yet. I can show that you can use another one for the first time as well very soon. But yeah, for example, assume that we can skip it. So I'm saying that you won't do it twice on a queue. That was a very good question though. So now that I know that I don't need to do it twice on an array, I just wanted to give you some intuition about it. That's, for example, you don't need to do it twice on some array. So now I'm saying that consider the first day. Consider that the first day that we choose one of these queues to service them. But there's a very important point, and what is that? A sub I and j is at least 1. A sub I and j is at least 1. And that's so important. If it was at least 0, that was so different. Why is it important? You will see it in a second. Because it's at least 1, whichever that you choose to service, you know that at the end, the number of customers in it will be at least n-1. Okay, so whichever of one of these that you choose to service, at the end, the number of customers in that queue will be at least n-1. First of all, I say that if the number of customers in it is greater than n-1, or in other words, is at least n, then this queue is gonna be useless. And this operation will be useless as well. We could skip this operation. I'm assuming that we can also skip the operations and not doing them because they don't help us at all. The point is that a number greater than or equal to n is useless. Why? Because we want to have max. We want to have the minimum excluded value to be maximized. So when we want to maximize this value, the point is that we want to somehow cover 1. and then somehow cover 0, and then somehow cover 1, and then somehow cover 2, and then somehow cover 3, and so on. And we have n numbers, so we can at most cover up to n. Our mix can be at most n. So if you cover n, covering n plus 1, n plus 2 is not going to be useful. Because if you cover n, definitely before that there will be something that is uncovered, that is not covered. Okay, so I'm saying that only the numbers from 0 to n minus 1 are important to be covered. Because the mix is at least 0 and at most n. Because we have n numbers. So covering n is useless, or numbers greater than n. So the only way that this queue is going to be helpful for us, if we do this operation on a queue, the only way this queue is going to be helpful for us is that if at the end it will be n minus 1. Do you guys agree with this? If you agree with this, put a plus or use this 100 emoji. Why can't I count number of ones in reverse order for each queue? I will tell you, we will reach there soon. Not understood. Okay, I will repeat it very fast. So, let me repeat it very fast. I'm saying that the first one, in the first day, the queue that you're gonna choose in the first day, you know that in each day after that, the number of customers will be added by 1. We know that a sub I and j is at least 1. So we can say that the number of customers in it will be at least n minus 1. I'm saying that if the number of customers in it will be greater than or equal to n, this queue is gonna be useless for me. Why? Because if it is n, assume that it is n. Then you know that if it is n or more, then we know that there will be some number uncovered from 0 to n minus 1. So the max will be that. So if our number is n or is greater than n, it's not important anymore. It has no effect on our max. It can not give us any help to increase our max. So I'm saying that the numbers greater than or equal to n are useless for us. Because we want to cover the numbers from 0 to n minus 1. At most we can cover these numbers. We know that we cannot make the max greater than n. So in the best case scenario, we can cover everything from 0 to n minus 1. If we make a number greater than or equal to n, that number is going to be useless for us. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. And then I say that, okay, assume that we've done it. And we know that it is greater than or equal to 1. I'm saying that we could also skip this move. This move was useless. We didn't need to service this queue. And then on the next turn, so far if anything is not clear, let me know. Great, awesome. So again in the next move, assume that in the next move, for example, we choose this one. Assume that we choose this one in the next move. We know that its number at the end will be at least n minus 2. Because there are n minus 2 days left. Okay. Now I show you that it's not useful. This one is not useful if it is greater than n minus 2. Or it is greater than or equal to n minus 1. So it should be exactly equal to n minus 2. Only in this case it's going to be useful for us. Only if it makes n minus 2 for us. Okay. So why? Because assume that this number makes n minus 1 or some number greater than n minus 1. Well, we know that the numbers after this, there are n minus 2 numbers after this. And they can cover only n minus 2 numbers. So from numbers, if you consider the numbers from 0 to n minus 2, how many numbers are there? From 0 to n minus 2, there are n minus 1 numbers. So we know that they cannot cover one of these numbers. They cannot cover one of these numbers. And we know that the one before that cannot cover that as well, because we know that that number is at least n minus 1. So the point is that if this one creates a number greater than or equal to n minus 2, n minus 1, it's not going to be useful for us because there will be some gap here, there will be some number uncovered here, and therefore this number that this one gives us is not going to be helpful. So what was the point? I know that this, the q that we choose at the first time, it cannot cover anything from 0 to n minus 2. We know that it cannot cover anything from 0 to n minus 2 because it's greater than or equal to n minus 1. If this one also do not make anything from 0 to n minus 2, or in other words, is greater than or equal to n minus 1, there will be only n minus 2 numbers left, which can make the numbers from 0 to n minus 2. So there will be one space at the end. So saying it in another way, that can probably make you understand it in a simpler way. Consider the q that you will choose in the first moment, in the first day. We know that the number that it makes is at least n minus 1. Now consider the q that we have in the second day. We know that its number is at least n minus 2. The third day, we know that its number is at least n minus 3. And so on. The day before the last day, it's going to make at least 1. And the last day, it's going to make at least 0. It makes exactly 0, but it's at least 0 as well. So exactly 0 is at least 0 as well. So we know that this one is at least 0. We know that if it make greater than 0, it never does that. It never does that, definitely. But we know that if it makes greater than 0, then we don't have any 0, because everything after that are gonna make numbers greater than 0. So this one should create exactly 0 for us, which it does. It does, because after that there will not be any people added to that. And then the next one, I argue that this one should create 1. Because if this one does not create 1, the ones after that, none of them can create 1. So our only chance to create 1 is this one. So this one, without any doubt, should create 1. Otherwise, the answer is 1. And then again, the next one, without any doubt, should create 2. Otherwise, we cannot have 2. Our answer is going to be less than or equal to 2. And so on. The last one should create exactly n minus 1. So that's what I argue. The one that you will choose at the last time should only create a 0 for you. The one that you choose in the day before that should only create a 1 for you. The one that you choose before that should only create 2 for you, and so on. So that's the pattern that we have. Is it clear what I'm saying? What's your opinion on new O3 mini model by OpenAI? They claimed it to have above 2000 rating. I haven't tried this. I have access to it, but I haven't tried it. Maybe we can try it today. It's gonna be fun. I have access to it, and maybe we can try it today. Okay, sure. I will dry run the last sample after explaining the problem. Yeah. It's easy to be when it's explained, maybe. It's okay, don't feel guilty. Don't you need to choose random cues exactly one time, but the last thing you said don't matter? I'm just saying that the last number that we choose should create a 0 for us. The number before that should create a 1 for us. The number before that should create a 2 for us, and so on. Okay. So otherwise, if they don't create those numbers for us, the point is that if they don't create what we want for us, they're not useful at all. When you combine them, don't you need the thing you said? You don't need the thing you say. I'm trying to completely understand what you said, but I think that it's not very related. Let me repeat what I'm exactly saying. the main point that I'm saying is that the last number that I choose must be at least 0. So it should create 0 for me. After that, we cannot create any 0. The next number is 1. We know that the one before it must be 0, otherwise the answer is 0 and we just don't continue. If we continue to here, the previous one didn't make 1. So the ones after this cannot make 1 as well. So this must be 1. Again, in here, if it's the previous ones didn't make 2, if they did, then we definitely didn't continue and didn't achieve here, won't achieve here. And the ones after that cannot create 2 as well. So this one should create 2 and so on. That's basically what I'm saying. I hope that it makes it clear. I tried it today. It solved 3 questions. Yeah, I will try it today as well in front of you to see what happens. I will do it today. Today might not perform well in dynamic fields, guessing. If you had just had one queue, then right. But I say you have a lot of them and you can combine them to make best answer. Yes, I know. But the point is that, yeah, we have multiple queues. But the point is that I'm saying that the one that you choose in the last day should only create 0 for you. The one that you make in the day before that should only create 1 for you. The one that you create the day before that should only create 2 for you. And that's all. ICBC eligibility should be more flexible given that online contests are at sort of a risk in the future. I don't know. I really want a CF t-shirt and I am willing to pay for it. Is it possible? I don't think they sell t-shirts. But maybe we can design one. Do you want to design a t-shirt and sell it? I mean, if we do that, we have to sell it. I'm sorry, because it definitely has some cost. I wish that we could just create it and or at least have a contest and prize that. But yeah, I'm not sure if for selling it would be fun. It's more fun if you win a t-shirt. Anyway, let's get back to the problem. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. We have to talk more. What if there are at least 2 queues for first choice that gives n-1 as suffix sum? Yes. We don't take we don't choose one at random. No, we don't choose one at random. As I said, it's not finalized yet. How to choose? Exactly. How to choose? That's what we're going to talk about. So now I'm saying that I don't go from the first day to the last day. I go backward. Well, I know that the one that I choose, what is it equal to? I mean, what does it mean? It means that the day you choose a queue, in all the days after that, in all of the days A of I and J must be exactly equal to 1. So, I mean, in which case you're going to have a 1 when you choose it here. If the number after that is 1, in which case this one that you choose here is going to make you a 2. In case all the numbers after that are 1, because we know that these are the least numbers that they can create. And when do they give you the least number that they can create? When each one of them are the least that they can be. When each one of them are 1. So the point is that the operations are only useful. The operations are only useful if the numbers after that the numbers in the queue after that they are all 1. Let me write in short. After are exactly 1. So it's the only case an operation is gonna be useful. So what do I do? Well, the point is that the one that you choose, the last one, any one that you choose, it makes a 0. The one that you choose the day before that, the point is that its last number must be 1. Its last number must be 1. The one that you choose the day before that, its last 2 numbers must be 1. The one that you choose before that, its last 3 numbers must be 1. The one that you choose before that, its last 4 numbers must be 1. So for any of these queues, you can see that how many ones do they have at the end. So it's basically like you have to find the mix of, not the mix of that. The point is that you have to do this. You have to find, let's take an example and show it with an example. Let's consider this last example that we have in here. Let me write it in here. The queues are, the first one is 4, 2, 2, 17 is the first queue. The next queue is 1, 9, 3, 1. The one after that is 5, 5, 5, 11. And the one after that is 1, 2, 1, 1. So if you take a look at it, the first one, I mean this one has 1, 1 at the end of it, and this one has 2 ones at the end of it. So basically you can easily find a solution. For example, in the last day, you can choose this. Let me change this color very fast. In the last day, you can choose this one, and therefore it will give you 0 at the end. In the day before that, you can choose this one, and it will give a 1 to you at the end. And in the day before that, you can choose this one, and it gives you a 2 at the end. And this is not important. This one is not important. This one does not help for sure. The only case it could help was if all these 3 numbers were 1. Only in that case it could help that we could choose this, but it's not, so it won't help. So our answer in this case would be 3. At the end, we're gonna have the first number that we're not gonna have, our mix is gonna be 3. So the point is that each of the queues, how much potential do they give you? And then you can just do this. I mean, you can see that how many of the arrays can create 1 for you, can create 0 for you. All of them can create 0 for you. All of them, if you choose them at the end, they will create a 0 for you. How many of them can create a 1 for you? The ones that's the last number of them is 1. For example, in this example, CNT of 1 is 2. How many of them can create a 2 for you? For example, in this example, it's 1. Only the last one can create a 2 for you. So you can easily see that how many can create any of these. You can easily calculate it with prefix sums. For any of them, you can see that how many ones do they have at the end, and only increase that. And at the end, you just have a backward 4 and just say that CNT of x plus equal to CNT of x plus 1. So this way you can just see that how many numbers can create any of this. And then you will have a forward 4, and whenever you are on I, if CNT of I is at least I, you can create I as well. Why? Because because CNT of I must be, at least I plus 1, or no. Let me say it like this. As you go forward, each time you will choose one of these numbers. So, for example, you will create, let me say it like this. When you start from 0, it's better, you know that all of them will work. All of these numbers will work. Any of them you can choose. So, it's better if you choose someone that is not going to be helpful for you anymore in the future. So, you will choose one of them that does not have anyone. That's the best choice we have, so that we don't lose the choices we have for the next one. So each time you try to choose one of them that is not gonna make an issue for you. For example, if I choose this, it does not change CNT of 1 and CNT of 2. But if I choose this, it will decrease CNT of 1 by 1. And worse than that, if I choose this, not only it will decrease CNT of 1, but also it will decrease CNT of 2 as well. So each time I just see that I just compare CNT of I with the CNT of I plus 1. I know that how many numbers are used so far. And we know that we say that if I can choose something, there's something left that is not useful for my next number, I will choose that one. If it is not, if there's nothing that we can use for the next number, then I should just lose one of them and decrease the next one. So this way I can just go forward. So if your question is that here is when I answer your questions, that how should I choose that which one of these I have. You can look at it like this. Each time choose the one that has the least power. For example, the power of this is 0. It can create at most 0 for you. The power of this is 0 too. It can create at most 0 for you. The power of this is 1. It can create 1 for you. The power of it is 2. So you can, for example, even have a set or have an array and sort it. And just each time choose the one that has the least power. And also in the same time, its power is at least I. If you want to create I, its power should be at least I as well. So you can just each time just remove the minimum number. If it was greater than or equal to I, you can just put it there. Otherwise, just remove it, because they're not going to be useful anymore. And this way you will choose the one that is going to work for you. Is it clear? I'll show you the code as well to make sure that you completely understood it. But so far, is the explanation clear? Is it clear what did I say? If it is clear, again, please put a plus or say it or use the 100 emoji, this emoji. Okay. I'm not sure you're not asking me. Okay. Which queue to choose? Not clear. Well, I'm saying that each time choose the queue with minimum power, because that one might not be, that one is the least valuable one. For example, when you see this the first time, it's better to choose something with power 0, because it has enough power for us. We want to create 0. It has enough power for us, and also among all of them, it's the least valuable one. So we want to keep the ones which are more valuable for the next terms. But this one, we can delete it. Also, the next time we want to create 1. So our power should be at least 1. So among all the ones that have power 1, we consider the one that is the least valuable and remove that. And we will move on like this. Each one we choose the one with the minimum power. I will show you the code too, to make sure that it's completely clear for you guys. Let me show you the code as well. Let me use this code. Let's see that what has he done on this problem C. Basically it's a very short code. He just inputs all the numbers and he has a for. Then what he says is he has a for j from n, j greater than or equal to I, and a sub I and j is equal to 1, j minus minus, cnt plus plus, vector pushback cnt. So he will calculate the powers that I said for each queue. He just calculates that what is the power of that queue, and he pushes back to that to the vector. This way is very simple. He just then sorts the vector, and he just has a for from the beginning. He just says that ans plus equal to I greater than or equal to ans. So it just keeps the powers. Okay, and he just has a for. Yes, it makes sense. So it was a very beautiful way to say it. Why does it work? It was a very beautiful way to write the solution. He just keeps all the powers and sorts them. For example, in that last example that we were talking about, the powers were 0, 0, 1, and 2. Then he has a for from the beginning. Whenever he sees that he finds some I such that some power that is greater than or equal to the current answer, it means that now we can create that number as well. So he will just increase ans by 1. What he means by this line is that whenever I find some number, some power in a vector, such that it's greater than or equal to our answer, he will increase the answer. For example, it starts from the beginning. and he says that he has 0, so he will increase ans by 1. Then he says this 0, our ans is 1 right now, but it is 0, so it's not going to be helpful. Then he see 1, he now see that he can create 1 as well, so he will create ans again. Then he see a 2, so he can see that he can create 2, so he will do that as well. Basically, whatever ans is the first number that we don't have yet. When we see a power greater than or equal to our ans, it means that now we can create that number as well, so we will increase our ans by 1. This was a very beautiful way of writing it. So basically, whenever he finds that some number has power greater than or equal to the current answer, he just understands that I can create this answer as well. So he will increase the answer by 1. And that's how he will do it. Is it clear? Very good code, yes. It's a very beautiful code. Please add me to your friend list. Okay, what is their account? I can add you to my friend list. Also, next we want to just give it to ChatGPT. There's a long hair sticking to me. Very, very good code. Yes, it's from Jawad. He's one of my students, and he's a very intelligent guy, like the others. I have a class in Pakistan right now, and all of them are very good and intelligent. I really like that class. Going to World Final this year? No. I'm not going to World Final this year. I don't think I'm eligible anymore. I'm 25 years old right now. So I don't think I'm eligible anymore. So that's why I'm not participating anymore. You're doing PhD? Yes, I'm doing PhD in computer science in UMD. Colin is not participating as well. Colin has participated in 2 ICPC World Finals, so he's not eligible too. No, I mean next one. Okay. So I want to give this problem to ChatGPT as well to see that how does it do. I'm personally curious about this. Let me open ChatGPT. Let's see. Let me share my screen with you guys. So let me find. We have o3-mini, o3-mini-high. Great at coding and logic. Fast at advanced reasoning. Well, it's not a good news if it can solve the problems, because it somehow makes the Codeforces contests meaningless, because this can solve it then. So solve this problem from Codeforces. For me, this is a competitive programming problem. This is o3-mini-1. So let's give it. Let me also see your comments at the same time. How much you are earning at this channel? How much am I earning at this channel? Almost nothing. Like, I don't know, like $10 per month. And I'm like, okay, don't give me that money. I'm not really even trying to receive that money. I don't think I haven't even received that money yet, because as it was that low that it doesn't worth trying to receive. So I'm paying for this channel, because when other people stream on this channel, I have to pay them, and that's why I'm even paying. That's why I'm asking for the subbers to create the course, because I think that I can continue paying for the channel, but creating a course can be more challenging, especially if you want an editor. They are very expensive. They're like want $50 per hour. So that's why I'm starting to do that, to increase the value of and the quality of the contents. This is still thinking. Also, one of you told me to invest in a camera. You could earn more than $50 per stream. How can I do that? Let me show you this. I bought this also at a very expensive price for creating the course. Just take a look at this. You can take a look at this camera. It's on a monopod, so you can see it right now. I bought it at a very expensive price. In total, I think it was like $1,000. But I think it was necessary for creating good quality videos and good quality courses. Yeah, so far I'm just paying for this. This camera that you're seeing me right now with is my laptop's webcam. Yeah, I would love to create more from the streams because that really helps me to increase the quality, but I almost earn nothing. Stream on Twitch. On Twitch you could earn better, I don't know. When you have started competitive programming 10 years ago, still good quality. Good. Are you a boy? I hope not. How much impact there will on software development by these LLMs? I think a lot. Don't you think so? I think everything is changing. But the good news is that O3 is still thinking. I don't know how much it needs to think to solve this problem. I think it should be able to solve this problem because if its rating is 2000, someone with rating 2000 is able to solve this problem. Have you done courses on ML, DL? In university, I had these courses. I also work with AI a lot as well. For example, like trying to make things with AI tools. What would be the approach when AIs can be one? Well, the problem will be so different if AIs can be zero, sorry. The point is that we cannot say this anymore, that the first one creates at least 0, the second one at least 1, the third one at least 2. So I'm thinking probably we can delete all the zeros and then say the same thing. Probably, yeah, I think maybe we can just delete all the zeros and do the same approach afterwards. But that would be a bit challenging because it's like in some days we can do it twice. It would be a bit different, but we can think about it. What strategies do you like to use with Codeforces hacking? I don't remember. I mean, I don't do hacking a lot. I mean, the last times. The point is that Codeforces contests right now, their tests are stronger compared to before. I remember that before it was easier to hack, but right now because the tests are stronger, it's harder to hack. But I recommend you to try to focus on solving the problems and do not try to increase your score by it gives us response by hacking codes. What specific topic are you doing in PhD? Theoretical computer science, game theory, graph theory, algorithms, solving just the problems we do. Can I make a video on all types of DP plays? Yes, that's what I want to do. Yes. I'm trying to create a course on that. Okay, so let's see that how did it solve the problem. I think it's something important to discuss, and let's see how did it work. We can show that with an optimal service schedule down. And a queue at as late as possible. Because it considers that a of I and t is greater than 1. That's a good point that he achieved. The smallest number you can force is obtained by resetting as late as possible. Now, how can we get a final number equal to 1? The next best idea is to serve a queue 1 moment earlier. If you serve qi at time j equal to n minus v, then its final number is this. Since every term is at least 1, the minimum possible is this. Thus, for each qi, define li as the number of consecutive ones at the end of qi. So it got till here, the number of consecutive ones at the end of qi. That's what we consider. What is the largest number v? So that that's the power that we defined. Now if you want the sets x1, x2 to xn to contain 0 to m minus 1 so that the max will be at least m, you must create every number in this. But as you explained above, the only way to force xi equal to v is to serve qi at time n minus v. And since the minimum sum is v, you must have a of I and n minus v plus 1. All of them should be 1. Li greater than or equal to 1, v also, because every reset action it gives a very good idea so far, and it gave us a code. Let's submit this code and see how does it do. Yes, that's ChatGPT, and that's really yes. Do not replace me. It can also replace me. I mean, very soon some AI can completely stream it. Just have some avatar talking, explaining that what the solutions are. I don't know if I have any job that AI can. I'm doing like 3 or 4 things right now. I'm thinking that which one this cannot replace. Okay, so let's submit it. Let's see if it really gets accepted. Let me also comment that this is not my code. This is not my code. Generated by ChatGPT. Discussed in the topic, in the contest solution discussion. Wrong answer on test 1. That's at least a good news. But it got a lot of ideas very good. And I think that, and this is O3-mini. O3 itself, it's not out, I think, or it's only for pro users. It has 3 type of, it has a free plan. One other plan that I'm on, and the plan that I'm on is like $20 per month. And the other plan that is its greatest plan, I think it's named Pro. That's $200 per month. Maybe for them, O3 they can use O3 as well as Operator. But anyway, o3-mini-high got wrong answer on test 1. But its output is close, and also it got a lot of ideas. We sort then array A and then for each can. How many can? It almost solved the problem. But guys, if you don't want to continue on this and want to discuss problem D as earlier as possible, let me know as well. I'm assuming that this is also so interesting for you. So if it is not, and you wanna move on to problem D as soon as possible, also let me know. Anyone who can collaborate to do DSA with me, you can join the Telegram channel. In our Telegram channel and our Telegram group, we have a community. There are around 1,000 people talking there, and in channel there are 4,000, around 3,700 or so. Let me show you the channel as well. Let me first change this. Well, this is our Telegram group with 759 people. This is our Telegram channel with 3,700 or so people. So if you want, you can join there. I can send you the link again, and just find other people similar to yourself who you can collaborate with and ask your questions, etc. How to approach CP problems now or a year after now? I guess in a year after now, you can just give it to ChatGPT to approach it, to be honest. But right now, that's the link to the group. That's the link to the channel. Also in the channel, I'll send the link to the group as well. Just after the stream, I will send the link to the... Let me send the link to the group right now. In here as well. That was the link to the channel, the link to the group. If you want the direct link to the group, it's here. This is the link to the group. So Sharon, I can think of approach, but I have difficulty in coding it. You have to solve a lot of problems, like always. Lead code contests, discussion streams, I was doing them. I couldn't do yesterday, unfortunately. As you know, I was in the university. I'm doing a lot of things, and unfortunately, I couldn't do the stream yesterday. I try to do all the CF contests from now on, and I try to do lead code streams as well. Sometimes probably I cannot do it, but I try to do it. From when will the lead code contest? Okay, that's the same question. It updated the code. So let's try it again. If it solved the problem, good. Otherwise, if you want, we can move on to the next problem. Let me comment this code as well. Accept it. Come on. Wow. Wow. I don't know that's a good news or that's a bad news. But it solved the problem. So it's model o3-mini-high, and it completely explained the solution and solved it. This can beat LGMs. It's gonna be over. I don't know what is gonna happen to Codeforces contests, because now that's it. I'm replaced. Ban GPT. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, AI is getting really scary. So, and I believe that very soon they're gonna be stronger than tourists. Because just see the progress they had. I mean, just compare it to 2 or 3 months ago. 2 or 3 months ago, now they can solve this problem. And we were like, maybe they cannot reason. But now we see that they can reason. I mean, for so long, computers were known as the things that are very fast, but they cannot reason. But now they can reason. and now basically we are not useful at all. For example, when how is a calculator compared to a person? We were always thinking that computers are just fast for many years. They're just, I mean, if it's easy to find out what they should do, for example, like multiplying, they can do it very fast. But they cannot reason. But I think, oh, my screen was not shared? Oh, come on, so you didn't see what happened. It got accepted. You didn't see my screen while it was accepting? That's a shame. That was a very interesting moment. But anyway, I think that probably GPT being a competitive programmer compared to a human being a competitive programmer is like how calculator works compared to us calculating, how the computer's calculator works compared to us calculating. I believe that very soon they're going to be stronger than tourists. I don't know. Yeah, right now they're not as strong as tourists, but probably they will be as strong as tourists. So let me give problem B to it as well. Oh my god. Let me give problem B to it. Let's just tell it to just give me code. Give me the code solution to this one. I can give D afterwards as well. I think that D takes more time. I can give D and let it run as well next time. But for now, yeah, GPT can also generate Codeforces contests. That's not a bad idea. Maybe we can create an online judge using GPT. What do you think? Maybe we can do this idea. If you guys are down with it, we can try to do this together. Wow, Cheyenne, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm just testing the capabilities of ChatGPT. In the chat, you said that its rating is 2000, and I'm just testing to see if it's really. Yeah, we can use GPT to find cheaters as well. That's gonna be. We can use GPT to find out if a code is generated by ChatGPT or not. But I don't think it's gonna be very accurate on that. Because anyway, it can tell you the solution, and you can, in the worst case scenario, code it by yourself when you know the solution. Yes, I think that's a good idea. We can think about it. Use GPT to create an online judge and check codes. No. I mean, just create GPT generated contests. What can be the future of CP and IT jobs according to you? I really don't know, to be honest. Do you guys have any idea? Because every day we get shocked by how much it's progressing every day. It's just so, we cannot really believe it. Every day we get shocked with. I recently was working with Notebook LM, and I was really fascinated by how it works and generate podcasts. I can talk about that as well also. But this is also very cool. I'm telling you, each day is getting a lot stronger than the last day. DeepSeek. I can try DeepSeek as well. Yes, it's O3. $2,700. It solved problem C of today contests. It's O3-mini. It's not the real O3. It's O3-mini. O3-mini-high, and it's great at coding and logic. O3-mini great at coding and logic. It's solving problem B right now. And I don't know how does it gonna work. AI can be used as a slave, but never can solely make important decisions. How come you know? I'm telling you. A few years ago, everyone were like, computers are good, are fast, but they cannot reason. They're just fast. They're fast and stupid. For example, they can do a product, but we should solve the problems and use computers to do that. But now we see that they can reason as well. There was a way to make them able to reason. We found a way. Probably we can find a way so that AI can make important decisions as well. I mean, we're creating AI, and we're creating it in a way to be better than us in everything, to replace human. So that's what we want. We want to replace human with AI. So we are like replacing ourselves by AI, by trying so hard to replacing ourselves and making ourselves useless. Because when you use AI, you don't need to pay people, you don't need to do anything, just AI does everything. And its power is not, expensive, it's very cheap compared to paying some human being. Still, they cannot do logic reasoning. I mean, it solved problem C. It got all the ideas, and let's take a look at its solution and explain its solution. It just has a for, it's seeing all the AI and J's, and then Li is the power that I was explaining to you. And it says that if A of I and J was equal to 1, count plus plus, else break, L of I is equal to counts. This is the power of the one at number I. Then, okay, it uses that, it basically is doing the same thing that code was doing. Its source L.begin and L.end if L of I was greater than or equal to CNT plus 1, CNT plus plus. So that's exactly what it's doing. And at the end, answer will be CNT plus 1. It doesn't need that line and this line. It completely find the idea, and this was exactly like the code that I was showing to you here. I showed you a code here. That's the same thing that he done in here. Ans plus equal to I greater than or equal to ans. In here it also says that if L of I was greater than or equal to CNT plus 1, CNT plus plus, and at the end ans is equal to CNT plus 1. So CNT plus 1 is the same thing as ans here. He compares it with CNT plus 1, and if it was greater than or equal to that, it adds 1 to CNT. I hate AI, maybe it can over time. All slaves are replaced with machines. Yeah, AI is doing better than all of our brains very soon. I don't know what's the purpose. What's the purpose? The purpose is that, what's the purpose of human being a competitive programming? It's like you have the great ability of solving problems, coding. When AI can do that, then AI is that a smart person, then they can do a lot of projects. You can tell them, okay, to do this project, and AI will do that project. And you can just create AI, maybe some genius person, some genius and sick person wants to tells an AI to just destroy all the human beings. And it just does that because it's so powerful. I mean, because it's a superpower. I mean, you can just, right now, AI has been, it's not only in software anymore, it's in hardware as well. I don't know if you have seen these robots. Some of them are dog robots, some of them are human robots that you can code them and give them some functionality. You can code them yourself. So you can just give a gun to it and just say that, okay, go kill everyone. Just program it to go and kill everyone. And then it can do that. It's powerful enough to do that. For the last 3 hours, it was getting information from 30,000 users. I don't know if it has, probably if it has access to Codeforces, it has access to web But I don't think so. I don't think it had looked at the solutions. I read a Reddit post, if you provide good prompt, GPT can pretty much do anything. You can share it, you can share the post. The logic is dangerously close to mine. English class should become how to generate good essays. Strong time make a strong man creates easy time. Easy time creates weak man. That sounds interesting. I can't get a GF, I can get AI GF. Keep the good work, Shane. Thank you. It has not solved B yet. It solves C a lot sooner than solving B. So RMQ. It's trying to use RMQ. It's interesting. Okay. It solved it. It thinks that it solved it. Let's submit it. Just submit. Let me also add the comments. Wrong answer on test 2. But if I give the test case to it, let me just say, you got wrong answer on test 2. Okay, probably we should move on to problem D now. Is anyone waiting for problem D? Probably. We can move on to problem D. Doesn't have emotions, suspicious. I don't know how people approach problems like B, sparse table. So yes, sparse table. Sharon, at what Codeforces rating do you think that I can solve most LeetCode hard problems? I think if you're at rating like 2000, you can solve all the LeetCode problems. I mean, in a contest, in a weekly contest. I think so. Well, don't be so happy because it's so fast. The pace of its growing is very fast. I mean, for example, a year ago, it couldn't solve anything. 6 months ago, 3 months ago, the speed so fast. So don't think that there's so much gap between being at this at this stage and being an LGM. I don't think there's much gap between these two. Maybe it's 3 month gap. So who knows 3 months from now, how is it gonna be? So even though the fact that it could solve problem C in the second attempt, it was so impressive. And I think that problem B, it solved problem B as well. I think with RMQ. It uses a very hard solution. Well, it's a bit weird, its solution. But anyway. Life first. Yeah, you're 2 years, my 10 years, and maybe tourists 15 years. Okay, so let's move on to D. I think it's time to move on to problem D now. I think it solved the problem again. Let me just submit it again now that it has solved it. And add the comments. Wrong answer on test 2. Okay. Let's move on to problem D now. At least it got wrong answer on test 2 on problem B. Okay, let's move on to problem D. Well, problem D, I read problem D, but just a minute before starting this stream. We have to just solve it together. I had some ideas when I read it, but I should maybe get help from ChatGPT to solve it. Let me at the same time give the problem to ChatGPT as well. Okay, problem D. Graph and graph. Let me at the same time that I'm solving it, give it to ChatGPT O3-mini-high. Okay. Well, the problem was that you are given two connected undirected graphs with the same number of vertices. In both graphs, there is a token located at some vertex. And you do this basically. The token on the first graph is at vertex S1, in the second graph is at vertex S2. Each time you can move it. You can move, if it is at some vertex U1, you can move it to an adjacent vertex like V1. And in the second one, if it's in U2, you can move it to some adjacent vertex in V2. And it tells you that the cost of the operation is the difference between U1 and U2. You have to determine the minimum possible total cost of all operations or report that this value will be infinitely large. Well, when it's not going to be infinitely large, the point is that at the same time that I'm checking O3, the point is that, let me move to the tablets. Well, the point is, if in my array, in my two graphs, I have cycles of the same length and also same indices. For example, in this one, I have, for example, 1 and then, for example, 3, 7, 4, and 2. And in this one, I have the same cycle too, 1, 3, 7, 4, and 2. If I have such cycles in these two graphs, I can start from the beginning, go to this vertex, and then just keep moving. I mean, somehow, if I can go on the same vertices in these two cycles, I can keep moving in these cycles, and then at the end, I will achieve my sum. My sum will not increase, and I will achieve a finite sum. Okay, let me see your comments. You have a lot of comments. Give D to GPT. I gave it. I just gave it to GPT. I can quickly explain solution to us. Great. So explain. Dijkstra with n squared nodes. Yes, works. Thank you for telling me that. I think it have access to Codeforces. I tried to see what contest is going on. It solved A and B, but it makes so many blunders after I gave hints to it. It was unable to solve C. It's interesting. For me, it solved C in the second attempt. Maybe it has access to Codeforces, but it didn't solve B. Give Dijkstra with n squared nodes. I am not a Codeforces guy. I'm just testing DeepSeek and O3-high. Okay. I am using O3 anyway. Doesn't matter with cycles because Dijkstra. Yes, the Dijkstra does the job as well. Exactly. Yes. So the solution is, as you also helped, we have n less than or equal to 1,000 and also m, the number of vertices and the number of edges, both up to 1,000 in both of the graphs. So we can have a pair that assume that in the first one we are in S1, in the second one we are in S2. Basically we can do this. We can just keep moving. We can just run a Dijkstra and keep moving on these edges. And yeah, that's a very good idea. And we can just keep adding these values. And then I'm thinking that's how we can use this to find the cost of a cycle. Probably if you achieve some vertex V and V, some two vertices with the same indices, if you can achieve something like that, and go back to itself. I think if you can get back to a pair with the same cost, it means that you can have infinite cost. If you can get back to a vertex with the same cost, right? By the way, tutorial is out as well, so let me take a look at tutorial as well to see that if you've used another approach. And also ChatGPT is still thinking. So it says that we need to understand when the answer is less than infinity. For this to happen, the first token in the first graph must be in vertex V and the second one V. There must be an identical edge from V to U in both graphs for some U. If we find ourselves in such a situation, the tokens can move along this edge back and forth. Oh, okay, so because the graph is not directed, so they can go back and forth. It's not about the cycles. It's about, because it's not directed, a cycle of length 2 is enough as well. So we can go back and forth as many times as needed with a cost of 0. Let's first identify all the vertices V, which we call good, that have this property. And then we will calculate the minimum cost to reach any of these vertices. Yes. So we find the minimum cost to reach any of these vertices, like V and V, such that both of them have edges to some U. We will create a new graph where each vertex corresponds to a specific state, and okay. So the rest of it is as I said. We can just keep each vertex as a state, that it means that A and B means that in the first one we're in vertex A, in the second one we're in vertex B. And we can go from it to some A prime and B prime, which means that we go to an adjacent vertex of A and to an adjacent vertex of B. And we can see that what's its cost. Its cost is going to be B prime minus A prime, the absolute value of it. A prime minus B prime. So we find the minimum cost to achieve such V and V. And that's going to be our final answer. We can take a look at the implementation too. Well, it's a long implementation. I believe that in the solutions of people we can find better implementations. Is it clear for you guys? And it's obvious if you want to get finite, you need this one else to go to the same node number. Yes, definitely. Yeah, there should be an edge UV in both. Yes. Are you upsolving both? Same edge. So with this prompt, it could solve the problem. Each vertex pair is a node, exactly. So n squared nodes, and each transition is an edge with weight. That makes n squared log n solution with the extra. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it does. It does. Sorry that this solution, I mean, I didn't think much about this problem before. So sorry that I read the solutions with you guys basically. I will show the code that you sent. Let me just open this code and I'll paste this here. Also, let me at the same time take a look at this code too. It's from the same guy Jabod that I showed his previous code to you. Let's see what has he done. He just pushes back the edges. 0 means the first graph, 1 means the second graph, and mn of I and j is the cost to get to a state I and j. He just starts from s1 times n plus s2. S1 times n plus s2 is basically a way to keep it in one. Instead of keeping a pair, he keeps an integer. So how does it calculate it? It multiplies s1 by n and adds s2 to it. It's like we are writing the number in base n somehow. Mn of s1 and s2 is 0. He each time takes the minimum. He just basically is doing the extra. And it considers the neighbors, and if you could go there with less cost, we will just erase the previous cost, update it, and insert the new cost. If v1 was equal to v2, and u1 was equal to u2, and ans was equal to -1, or ans was greater than mn of v1 and v2, ans will be equal to mn of v1 and v2. So whenever we achieved a state that v1 and v2 were the same and the neighbors were the same as well, we will update our ans. At the end, we'll see out our ans and just clear everything. And that's going to be all about this solution. Also, the submission that you sent to me, that's a lot longer. And it's in Java. So you get the integers and you start the Dijkstra in this with the same approach, and then you will add the cost. If new cost was less than this, you will push it back. At the end, you will have a 4 on all the vertices. I think in valid, you check if they have the same neighbors in both of them. Yes, you check that if both of them have, both of the graphs, we have the same vertex as neighbor. If it was valid, you calculate what is the distance to that position and you just find the minimum value of that. Yeah. Is the solution clear? Again, sorry that I just read the solutions for you basically. If it is clear, please put a plus or use this emoji. And GPT has solved problem D as well. GPT O3, ChatGPT O3. So let's submit from here. Include this comment as well. Oh my god. Accepted. It solved problem D as well. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So user can get algorithm is then yes, obvious. I didn't even give it hints. It just solved it by itself completely. 234 milliseconds, yes. 234 milliseconds. That's very, very interesting. Yeah. Yes. A lot of jobs in a lot of, I think they can solve, especially when we are doing our PhD, we are trying to write a lot of papers, etc., solving problems. I think very soon they can write papers as well and solve problems. So basically even doing a PhD is not going to be that helpful. Opening new rating, GPT, exactly. Maybe rating 4,000 plus should be called GPT very soon. It has access to CF for sure. Let me ask it. Do you have access to Codeforces and you have cheated by reading other users' codes, You don't need to reason for that. No, I do not have access to Codeforces or any external website. I can only provide help based on the information and context that you provided in the prompt. I don't read or retrieve other users' codes. All my responses and code solutions are generated based on my rating and internal reasoning. If you have a Codeforces account, what do you think your rating would be? If you had a Codeforces account, What do you think your rating would be? Let's see what does it think itself. Sorry. Why it doesn't scroll? Doesn't scroll more. I don't actually have a Codeforces account for the ability to participate in the contest, so I don't have a rating. But if I were to imagine a hypothetical scenario, I might hope to be in the higher tiers. That said, competitive just about knowing algorithms and also about creative problem solving under time pressure. So while I might know a lot, it's hard for me to say what exactly. Just give me a number. What? 3,500? I understand 3,500 might sound surprisingly high. In reality, I don't know. From 3,500 to 4,000. Come on. At least 3,500. Let me give it the last problem. It's so arrogant. Let's see that if it can solve the last problem. It might take some time, but it's argued that my rating is gonna be 3,500. So it's not still as much as Tourist and Jiangli, but that's a lot. That's Elgin. That's very interesting. The worst round is high time to learn LLM and make a career in it. Yeah, probably. That was very interesting. No, it doesn't mean it meant 350. Because it's definitely solving problems which are, at least it solved problem D. So, and it argues that it doesn't have access to internet. And it's solving it itself. So either he knows how to lie, he has learned to lie, or he's just solving these problems. And this is, yes, O3-mini. It's not the latest O3 model. It's o3-mini-high. This model, great at coding and logic. And because D requires almost no problem solving skills. Maybe AI knows to lie, maybe. Okay, do you guys want to discuss E1 and E2 as well? I have not read them, but if you want, we can discuss them too. Does anyone in here want to discuss E1 and E2 as well, or do you want to continue working with ChatGPT instead? If you want, we can try to find the solution of E2 together. Okay, sure. We will solve problem E2. I mean, I'm gonna use GPT to tell you that how it will be solved. Okay, problem E2, we're gonna solve it together. I haven't read this before. I'm gonna use tutorial and ChatGPT, and we're gonna see if ChatGPT really can solve this one. Okay, stop gaming hard version. I'm reading hard version directly. This is the hard version of the problem. The difference is that in this version you need to output all operations that need to be performed. Okay, you are given n arrays, is each of which has a length of m. Let jth element of the ith array be denoted as a sub I and j. It is guaranteed that all a sub I and j's are positive, are pairwise distinct. Okay, all of them are pairwise distinct. In one operation, you can do the following. Choose some integer I and an integer x. For all integers k from I to n in increasing order, do the following. Add the element x to the beginning of the kth array. Assign x the value of the last element in the kth array. Remove the last element from the kth array. Choose some integer I and an integer x for all integer k from I to n in increasing order. Follow. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. I'm thinking about other things, like how GPT is doing. Choose some integer I and an integer x for all integers k from I to an increasing order. Do the following. Add the element x to the beginning of the kth array, or assign x the value of the last element in the kth array. And remove the last element from the kth array. In other words, you can insert an element at the beginning of any array, after which all elements in this hand all following arrays are shifted by 1 to the right. Okay. You are given a description of the arrays that needs to be obtained after all operations, that is, after performing the operations. The jth element of the ith array should be equal to b sub I and j. It is guaranteed that all b of I and j, b sub I and j are pairwise distinct. Determine the minimum number of operations that needs to be performed to obtain the desired array. And also output the sequence of all operations itself. I think the difference between E1 and E2, as it was discussed, was this last part. You need to find the minimum number of operations. So you are given n and m, the number of arrays and the number of elements in each array. And then you have n lines about the arrays that you currently have, and then n lines about the arrays that you want to have. And you have to see that how many steps do you need. Each time you choose some integer I, and for all of the integers k from I to an increasing order, you do the following. Add x to the beginning, assign x the value of the last element in the array, and remove the last element from the current array. Okay, so is this statement clear for you guys? I think it can't solve, maybe. Rush E, you should use Brave to avoid YouTube ads. I have time, so GPT is also okay. Okay, my progress for E is basically you can greedy find which numbers are gonna be kept and which will be sent out of this array. Even AI knows how to sell itself well. Remember, the pairwise distinct is important. Yes, all of them are pairwise distinct. Also, x should be distinct to the others. I don't think so. Okay, let's solve let's see that what is the solution, not solve. Let's find the answer to problem E1. We just need to reassert the necessary sequence of answer. Let's first see E1 then. To minimize the number of operations, it is necessary to leave as many elements as possible in the original array. What are these elements? Yeah, we have to pick as many number of elements as we can in the array that we have at the beginning. I'm just taking a look at the numbers that we should have at the end. All the b sub I and j's are different as well. All of them are pairwise distinct as well. Okay, we have to leave as many as we can as they are. And how can we can do that? These elements must form the initial array prefix and the final array subsequence. The final array subsequence or suffix, don't they just go forward? In the array, shouldn't it be a suffix? How can I start CP? Well, basically that's why this channel exists. That's basically to show you how you can start CP, etc. I really recommend you to watch topic streams, as I told the other people before. This, then I would not spend time on CP anymore. Best of Beast, are you Iranian? Because the name you're mentioning is Iranian. But I had 45 minutes but didn't get in time. Okay, I think there should be a suffix. If I understood the problem well, I was very distracted by all the things that are going on. It has a solution. I don't know if it gets accepted or not, but let's try. Oh my god. I want to copy and paste the comments as well. So let's see how does it work. Wrong answer on test 1. Okay, on test case 3 of test 1 it's not working. So you are a loser. Your rating cannot be 3500. Let me also add that I think you are lying to me. Okay. So, yes, it couldn't solve E2. I don't think it's 3500. The elements must form the initial prefix and the final array subsequence. What other conditions need to be imposed on the prefix so that addition can be used to obtain the final array? It says that let's connect the hint together, 0 iterate through the prefix of elements that are originally in the array and have not been removed from the end. We will need to understand when this prefix can be extended to the final array. We will look at the positions of elements from the current prefix, after which in the final array there are elements that do not belong to the current prefix. For a sequence of actions to exist that leads to the final array, it is necessary and sufficient that for each such element, if it was in its array at position I, there must be at least n-1 elements in the final array that do not belong to the current prefix before it. Let me see that what was the answer. I'm sorry that my solution, I understand your frustration and I appreciate your feedback. Even if it's harsh, I'm here to help, and if you can share more details about which... Okay, it got sad. I'm sorry. Regarding the rating comments, that was just a humorous hypothetical guess rather than claim of any actual rating. Let's try to work together on this. Could you let me know which part of the solution seems to be failing? Okay. I think I made AI sad. Emotional damage. It looks very sad. Yes. Okay, so let's focus back again. It was in its array at position I. There must be at least n-I elements in the final array that do not belong to the current prefix before it. think I have. There must be at least m-1 elements, m-I elements in the final array that do not Okay, so it gives you some arguments. It is necessary and sufficient that for each such element, if it was in its array at position I in the original array of arrays, there must be at least m-I elements in the final array that do not belong to the current prefix before it. Check this condition, prefix and build a subsequence while maintaining whether it is possible to construct with the prefix of elements up to the after reaching the final array. There are elements that do not belong to the current prefix, and how many elements that do not belong to the current. And in E2 algorithm, we're at each step to find the rightmost elements at the end of some array, after which we need to add something. Thus such an algorithm will definitely lead to the answer. The only difficulty lies in finding the rightmost elements after which something needs to be inserted. We'll maintain a data structure on the indices from the prefix of the remaining balls. In the ith cell, we will store the number of elements that needs to be added for these elements to become the last in this array, if something needs to be added after it. Otherwise, it will be 0. When adding the next element after the ith element, we will subtract 1 from the suffix after to find the rightmost element at the end of it. I think I have to check the statement again. I believe that there's something in the statement that I'm missing, because it keeps talking about insertion in. I'm not sure if I understood it completely. It says choose some integer I and then integer x. And for all integers k from I to an increasing order, do the following. Add the elements x to the beginning of the kth array and assign. So you add x to the beginning and shift, you consider x as, you change x to the last element to this array so that this one will go to the next array. And then it's like you shift everything from here to right and just add the one element to the beginning of it. The last element of this array goes to the first element of the next array. So if that's the case, I'm not sure if the solution completely complies with it. But it just gives you a claim that it says that for a sequence of actions that can lead to the final array, it gives you some condition, some necessary and sufficient condition. It says that if it was, why does it say about the elements? That's why I don't completely understand. What is I? Oh, for all integers k from I to n. Was in its array at position I in the original array of arrays, there must be at least m-I element. I'm not fully sure that I'm understanding this. I believe that maybe I didn't completely comprehend the statements, but it gives you, I mean, if I just want to give a general picture, I see your comments again too. If I want to just give a general picture, it just is saying that it gives a claim, a necessary and sufficient claim, and then in the second one it tries to construct a solution based on that claim. And it uses data structures like segment tree in order to do that. That's what I understood so far from it. But I believe that I should read it more carefully again to completely get okay with it. I think I need more time to see if I'm okay with it. I'm sorry for it. Does it help by any ways? I think that's what I can say so far. It's basically, it's mostly a hint. It just gives you a necessary and sufficient condition such that it works for the first sub-problem, and in the second sub-problem it just constructs a solution using segment tree for that. I hope that this hint can help you guys. It's not a full solution though. I think you guys can take a look at the solution. Also, let's take a look at ChatGPT's solution as well. Okay, what I said was humorous to just explain the solution to me in short. Let's just explain the problem, statements, and solution to me in short. Let's try ChatGPT as well. But let's see what did it say. It uses DP. Basically, it uses DP to solve the problem. I'm not though sure that if it's interesting, it also gives the steps of thinking. Even in areas. Matches the targets. Oh, nice. See, that's what we have a subsequence. I think. So it says that you give some carry to the next one. You have to see that what your current state is, how much you've shifted from the previous one. You know that if you have shifted k elements, it's the suffix of the last k elements in the previous array. So you know that how your array looks like right now, and you want to find the minimum shift that you should give so that you will have this array sorted. And it goes on the array rows one by one. It says that first we fix the first array, then the second array, then the third array. We go in this order. And it makes sense because when you want to resolve a row, it doesn't affect the rows before it, but it affects the rows after it. So it's better to first solve row 1 and then solve row 2, because row 2 does not mess with row 1, does not ruin it. And then it says that performing r plus equal greater than or equal to 1 operation drops the elements, carry for I plus 1, and it uses dynamic programming afterwards. I'm not sure the dynamic programming part is correct though. Yes. It was emotional damage. Seriously. Cheyenne GPT, a large and sophisticated language model to replace Cheyenne and resembles his IRL behaviors. What do I mean by IRL? Please give the hint to GPT and see if it can solve it. Let's give it till here. Let's give the solution. This is the solution. Explain it to me in short so that... Explain me in short. Connecting hits, mapping hints, mapping resources. It tells you what the steps as well. Okay, let me see. I'm iterating through the prefixes, building subsequence. Wow. Okay. So you start with an array or several arrays and want to transform it into a given target array by repeatedly doing an operation that inserts a chosen number at the beginning, shift all elements one position to the right, and remove the first element. Since each operation loses the last element, you want to avoid doing extra operations. That is, you'd like to preserve as much of the original array as possible. Hence, keep the original prefix. To minimize the number of operations, you want to keep as many original elements as possible. Yes, definitely. These are the elements that remain in the array. The prefix that hasn't been shifted out. Prefix must appear in the target. The preserved elements must appear in the final target as a subsequence. Yes, if you take a look at these prefixes are basically a subsequence of the final array. I mean, if we concatenate the array in the second one. But I believe that in each array there are a suffix, if I understood it clearly. Insertion feasibility for every element from the original prefix. Say the one originally at position I, you need enough extra elements to be inserted before it in the final array. Yes, so for each one, you see that where should it go? So that it will be in its position in the final array. Yeah, that makes sense. So for each element, you see that in the second array, where is it? And you see that how many elements you have to add before it. Precisely, there must be at least n-i elements from the target array that are not in the current prefix and that come before this element. n-1 elements from the current target array that are not in the current prefix and that come before this element. The condition guarantees that it is possible to push the preserved part to the right while inserting the missing elements in the correct order. I said iterate over prefixes. Whether for every element in the prefix, there are enough non-prefix elements that can be inserted before it in the final array. Inductive greedy approach. The provided proof shows that if the condition holds for each element, each preserved element has enough missing ones before it. Okay, each preserved element should have enough missing ones before it in the target. Then there is a sequence of operations that fixes the array. In other words, you can build the target array by first keeping the longest possible prefix from the original array and then inserting the missing elements in the correct order before the preserved ones. Okay, you need to repeatedly find the rightmost elements in the prefix. That still needs work. After which an insertion is required to match the target. A segment tree is used to maintain for which each index. Okay, so you find the rightmost one such that you need to add something to the right of it. The segment tree is updated so that you can quickly find the next position where something still needs to be added. So yes, I see that you should just keep a prefix from each of the arrays and you should make them a subsequence of the final array that you concatenate all the elements. And you can see that you want to find out that how many elements you can preserve at most. And for each element, you can see that how many elements must be added before it so that it will be matched with the element equal to it after itself. And you just need to insert the elements in a way that they can be exactly on the position they must be at. So the way that I'm looking at it is that I'm appending all the arrays in the first array together in the first one and each one in the second array together as well. And then I try to find out how many elements I should add before each element so that they will be on each other. And it just uses a segment tree for the second part so that it can find out how exactly it should insert something such that they will be on each other at the end. Yeah, IRL in real life. Okay. A large answer in real life behaviors. Yes, that's interesting. We can create Cheyenne GPT. I can create it so that it streams instead of me. I can really think of doing it. Oh, that's a really cool idea. You are given n, find first divisor of n squared plus 1. Find the first divisor of n squared plus 1. Well, so far, I mean, if I want to think about this problem, if it is odd, it's definitely 2. If n is odd, so n is even. Thank you, bery. That's an interesting problem. Maybe we can think about it, or I have a better idea. The better idea is to give this problem to ChatGPT. Let's see that how is it working? What is the idea of ChatGPT? For each test case, I define the small divisor, assuming it surpasses 1. I'm mapping out the ambiguity of t equal to. Okay, it gives some ambiguity. Yes, and I understood that. What does it mean? Thinking through possibilities, considering a first divisor means the smallest prime factor of n squared plus 1, not trivializing it to 1. This approach seems promising. Thinking equal. Okay, let's see that. What is the final? No, let's see the step by step. That's better to see the step by step. It says that if it is odd, the answer is 2. We pre-compute the smallest divisor of n squared plus 1 by sieving over primes, p up to 10 to the 6. For each such p, we have solve. This, I don't know why it didn't fix the formats, which has 2 solutions, r and p are n squared minus 1. Okay, n squared mod p equal to minus 1. N squared mod p must be equal to minus 1, yes. Which has 2 solutions, r and p minus r. and updates all even n in the corresponding arithmetic progression. If no small factor is 1, then n2, n squared plus 1 then is a prime. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, the greatest divisor must be a less than or equal to 10 to the 6, definitely. Yes, that's the obvious fact. It should be less than or equal to 10 to the power of 6, otherwise n squared plus 1 is a prime number. If it is not a prime number, it should has one divisor less than or equal to its roots. So, and it understood it, and it just does pre-computation. For each prime, if p was equal to 2, continue. If p modulo 4 is 1, continue. Oh. So it wants to solve it for each n initially. If n was odd, best of n is 2. Otherwise, it just finds all the prime numbers by sieve, and then it's not a he, it's a it. It just has a while g is less than p if mod x p of. This is some mathematical thing. If this g to the mod x, which means what is base x mod rest is equal to 1 modulo mod base. Okay, this is just power mod x modular exponentiation. It calculates g to the power of p minus 1 half modulo p. If it was equal to p minus 1 break g plus plus. I don't know how much this while takes time though. Quadratic non-residual modulo mod p. And you do it does it for each prime p greater than or equal to 2, that is 1 modulo 4. It should be 1 modulo 4. And then it says that it has this while that it increases, and it has another function in here. Let's see what is the time complexity. What's the time complexity of your solution? It says that it's n log n. It's interesting. It's interesting. Only those which are 1 modulo 4 besides p. For each such prime p, we can solve the congruence. It is known that when p is equal to 1 modulo 4, this congruence is, when p is congruent to 1 modulo 4, this congruence has exactly 2 solutions modulo p. Let these solutions. Oh, okay. Well, the point is that if a number is even, if you raise it to the power of 2 and add 1 to it, it's gonna be some number of form 4k plus 1. But I'm thinking that why it considers the prime number to be congruent to 1 modulo 4. We know that p divides n squared plus 1. We update the answer for n if p is smaller than any factor found so far. I'm trying to... Can you share the code? Yes, I think I will at the end. I want to try to find that what is it doing first. Why p must be congruent to 1 modulo 4. For an odd prime p to divide n squared, you are not writing in correct format. It can solve this problem, but it cannot compile the format. In other words, -1 must be quadratic. Okay. Residuum modulo 5. N squared must be -1 modulo 5. But Euler's criterion tells us that for an odd prime p and an integer a not divisible by p, a to the power of p minus 1 half is equal to a over p modulo p, where a over p is Legendre's symbol. Okay, it's very number theoretical. Okay, it uses some number theoretical stuff in order to solve problem. I can share the code as well. Let's see, where can I paste this? Okay. Okay, you should find it here. Find the code here. You can take a look at it. Yes. Yeah, it was good though. It could use some Euler formula to solve the problem. This stream has lasted more than 2 hours. Let's see how long it lasted. It's around 3 hours. Oh my god. I probably need to go soon. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope that you enjoyed this stream. I know that's probably you did not completely get what you were looking for, but I hope that you enjoyed this stream. I bet it can solve why contest is going on. I don't know. I don't invite you to test it because that's gonna be cheating. So please take out time to do such post-contest stream. They are very beneficial. Sure. I'll try to. Yeah, sure. I'll try to do all these solution discussions. It was Russians Junior this question. Nice. Oh, cool. Bakhtiar. Nice. So I'm gonna see you guys very soon. Next contest, let's see when the next contest is. It's in 4 days. 7 days. Div 4 on 7 days. I'm gonna see you then. Okay. Thank you guys again for joining. I'll see you in the topic stream on Friday. And I see you in the Telegram channel as well. I will vote that what do you want the topic stream to be about. So let me share the link to the Telegram channel again. You take, no, that's paste when it didn't copy. Let me send the link. That's it. See you guys very soon, and sure, I'll put centered decomposition in the Telegram votes again. It's just your chance if people vote for that or not. Do you visit Iran? I have visited Iran recently. Just a month ago I was in Iran. Thank you guys so much. See you guys very soon. Great. See you guys. Bye bye.